Words can be very powerful when they're used in different situations. We have things like from Patrick Henry, give me liberty or die. He was ready to do all that. And of course, here in Texas, we might say, remember the Alamo. Those things are like that. My dad, his word was simple. So he might say, Billy, go out and mow the lawn. And I don't want to. So it was a good word. It was a good word. One of my favorite ones is, and you can finish it, now I forgot it. Look at that. Practice makes permanent. Yes, permanent. Yes. All these years, it's because we practice and we do what we practice, and it becomes permanent. So we have those. In our first reading today, we have some beautiful words from one of the from the Book of Wisdom. And they're important that we listen to these words. A lot of times we just don't pay much attention. He said, this wise man says, I have prayed, and I was given prudence. Really important there. And then he said, I prayed, and I was given wisdom. We have these things that are given, and they are wise. And so we want to think about those things a lot, because when God speaks, there's something other than when we speak. When he said, let there be light, and there was light. See? And calm the waters calmed. So we have those words from God himself. So here he is giving him prudence, queen of the wonderful signs of God. We need to have, not necessarily smartness, but love. And we have if we're not paying attention to that, we get all messed up. Kind of like a quarterback who has a lot of skills and things and knows how to do all these kinds of things, but when he's in the playing of the game and the players are running, he has to have some prudence. If you have 3 people on the defense on one person, it's not very prudent to send a pass to them. You should be thinking, there's somebody over there. You have to have that sense of using my skills in the right way, and when not to use prudence at all. Wisdom. Now, wisdom does not mean smart. Okay, sometimes that we get mixed up with that, but it's not. The wisdom that we're talking about here, Saint Thomas Aquinas called them the view from the top, on a high hill. And what he meant by that was that seeing the highness, what really goes. And it applies to God. God wants us to use that wisdom to make a better world, to make a better self with his help. Not just having smarts. There's some very, very smart people have done some terrible things. But we have to have that sense of what's really going on in the world. And I would ask you in this coming week, if you go to our catechism, and by the way, it's very easy to find things in the catechism. If you just go into the bar up there and just to say CCC, Catholic Catechism of the Catholic Church, and then the paragraph. So these the paragraphs here on this very system are 18.5 through 18.9, just 5 little paragraphs. So you just type one at a time, and they'll pop right up, and you can read them. They're very, very important, and there's a lot of great things that we can learn from that, and have a great sense of our dignity with God, and to take that. Now, there's another set of things that happen, are the deadly sins, who are always trying to get us away from true virtue. And, for example, just taking the pride, you know what I say about pride. You should never be proud of anything you do. Don't be proud of it. Be grateful that God gave you the ability and the opportunity to do great things. Because so much of what we have and accomplished is not simply us. It's a lot of other things. It's our parents who brought us into the world. Our parents that pushed us through school. All these kinds of things. And so we want to get away from being proud of what we're doing. Remember, that's the devil's sign. The devil is total pride. And we have to be aware of that and how that works in our lives to hold us back. But when we talk about pride, it's really get that word out of our lives and take about how much gratitude we can have and has been given to us. We have to turn it around. Lust. But there's all this sexual out of wedlock, pornography, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And we know that. We live in this culture, we know. And so instead of honoring our bodies, we degrade our bodies. Oh, Msgr, I'm not in those pictures. I don't do that. But I'm looking at it. And it degrades us. We have to be so careful. Gluttony, especially with food. But sometimes it stretches out a little bit too. Some people have to buy a new car every 2 years. Every time Apple has another Apple phone, we got to get it, the latest thing. And we're just consuming all these things. And we got to move away from that. Anger. So often we just think we're so angry about things. So many times, well, why does somebody do this? And say, wait a minute, you got to tame that. Envy. How many times are we in confessions of, and I, especially Father Farson, I was getting a really envy about somebody. I said, well, okay, and I always ask this question. Well, do you think they're happier than you are? They'll think, because they don't want to answer the question. Well, then, and if I say, well, maybe, yeah, and envy just eats at our heart. Well, somebody has a little more money than I do. Okay, so what? So what? And we just tear into our own heart, and sloth, just not putting out the effort. But when you go to the virtues, then you begin to say, okay, I got to work on some things. And God's grace is going to do that. He's going to help us be generous, brave, confident. Those are beautiful virtues, but it's not magic. And that can't come from somebody else. I cannot be wise from somebody else. I have to appropriate that for myself. You can't give your price. You can't price. To give your wisdom to somebody else. It's kind of like I always say when you see some people that are doing running and all that. I say, well, run for me, please. You can't do that. You can't sleep for somebody. Some things we have to do on our own. We have to appropriate that for ourselves. And God will help us. God will help us. We have to be like that smart man in the book of wisdom. I prayed, and I was given good things. And when we do that, we're going to be a lot closer to God and even closer to ourselves. Let us really have this sense of, okay, I got to really push forward for a life of virtue. And this week, go through the corporal works of capital virtues. There's 4 of them. And say, okay, I can look at those. Say, where do I need to live better, more holy, and walking closer with our God?